Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 107, and I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Wednesday Motivation and Inspiration, and today I want to talk about waking up motivated daily. I didn't say every day, I said daily. Big difference. So, quick little quote: I did not wake up today to be average. How many people say that? I'm quite sure a lot of people do, but um, let's just jump into this because every day will be different no matter how much you plan. You'll face some challenges or something that will happen that will change the landscape of your day. The only thing with that is how do you handle that and if and when that does happen. And that's why, for me, I try my best to wake up motivated daily. Waking up another day means it's a new opportunity to reach someone new, whether that's on social media, in person, or a close friend. Because my content has to impact others and it has to matter. And that's why I wake up motivated daily. Like for me, I get to write, I get to record these podcasts, I get to, do all of these great things that a lot of people would love to do. And I try to, motivate people to say, you know what? If I'm doing it and I'm just a regular average guy, you can do it too. So some days, well, to be honest, I'm not posting content, but I am working on something. And that gets me closer to my end goal, which is numerous people listening to my podcast, watching my YouTube videos, reading my books, listening to my podcast, digging into my clothing line, things of that nature. And I know, like, the end goal, like, when I get there, it's going to be great and it's going to be like this wonderful feeling. But I always feel like there's going to be more goals for me to kind of keep myself motivated. I don't think like I'm going to lose that drive. For whatever reason, I just don't feel like I'll ever get to that place where I'm going to wake up and be like, all right, I'm good. I don't think so. I think because, all my life I've been, kind of pushing myself and, pushing myself to be great. And when I was younger and I was in my 20s, I'll kind of run this story by you guys real quick. When I was younger and I was in my 20s, I had like a YouTube page where I was, doing like a basketball report every day, and I would like put on my suit and act like I'm like this big head honcho like on Sports Center. I wanted to be the like next Stephen A. Smith. I don't know if you guys watch sports, but Stephen A. Smith has been at ESPN for a long time. But before then, he was writing for the Philadelphia Inquirer, and he's done a lot of great things in the sports field. And he talks sports on First Take, and First Take has pretty much become his platform, his show, and he has other things that he does, for ESPN. And I used to always be the person that would watch him and study him and things like that. And I had my YouTube page and I was doing all these videos and things of that nature, and I saved all these videos on my laptop, and then my laptop crashed and I had none of those videos backed up or saved. And this is before YouTube became huge. Like before YouTube started doing ads and, having sports games on there, and before all these major podcasts, came on the platforms and things of that nature. So this was about 15 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. And I enjoyed that journey, and I was motivated every day to give, my insight into sports and all of that stuff. So now when I see all of these like people doing platforms and things like that, and they have their own podcasts and they have their own sports shows, I'm just like, wow, like I used to do that. Like, and I'm not saying I was the pioneer and I'm the guy that started it, but I think about what was, and then I always think about, well, what could I have been if I had backed up those videos and saved them on an external drive? Because guess what? I didn't know what external drives were, back then. I know what they are now because guess what? I signed onto my laptop like a couple of days ago, and yeah, a lot of my stuff is gone. And I have a Google Chromebook, and Google tends to do updates and things of that nature. But the silver lining to it is that I have an external drive. And 95% of my content is saved on there. So I didn't lose too many things. And then I went on to another website where I have my books saved and formatted, and I just pretty much downloaded them again. But went off topic, went, on another tangent. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is there really has to be a drive inside of you every day to really, accomplish your goals. And I always tell people, you don't have to work 5 hours every single day to work towards your goals. Trust me, there are days where it's like, I only have 2 hours in me, and I give it my all for those 2 hours. And there are days where I have an hour in me, and then there's days where I have 5 hours, to really like just sit and focus and do work and things of that nature. So, whatever time you put into it, it's gonna get you closer to where you want to be. And there are going to be obstacles. There's going to be distractions, things keeping you down, people not believing in you. And it's a matter of how are you going to handle that? How do you manage your friends wanting to hang out when you know that your goals are more important than hanging out and not doing anything? And I always say, like, do things the way you see fit, but don't get caught up in hanging out all of the time. Like, I have best friends that, well, I live far away from them now, but, when I started on this journey, they knew, they understood, like, there is this innate drive in me to keep doing what I'm doing. And when it's time to write, they know it's time to write. And when they know it's time for me to sit and record these podcasts, they know. So they get it. And they know that, I've had it in me for a long time. They were just waiting to see, when I was going to really like start going after it. And, for me, there are days where I'm tired. I mean, these past few months, I've been tired, like pretty much the majority of the time. Pretty much about 90% of my days, I'm tired. And it's not just physically. A lot of times it's mentally. So sometimes I do have to take those breaks. But what I'm trying to say is I want you guys to, you know, get your spirits back up, motivate yourself, and keep going with this. And sometimes the breaks are the hour in the gym that you go, you go work out, or the hour that you're outside riding your bike or going for a walk, or maybe it's an hour of watching a really good TV show that kind of gets your mind off of things, or spending time, with your family for a little while. But it's more of, okay, like now we've got to kind of shift back into like getting back to what we need to do for ourselves. And I like to ask people, like, how do you overcome being tired in the morning, or, when your body isn't feeling the best? Like, how do you get through that? For me, if I'm tired in the morning, hey, it's either, rest a little bit more and then get up and go, or it's all right, it's go time, and I'll get the nap in later. When my body isn't feeling the best, I know that I do need to take an hour or two to, really get my body right. And that may consist of me sitting in the tub for 30 minutes and getting my body, getting the toxins out of me, and drinking more water. And so it's all in what works for you. And there are going to be days you're going to have to push through, certain things, and, keep yourself going, because that's going to determine how much you get done and how much you accomplish. And for me, these past few years, I've been so thankful and gracious that, those days where I was like, ooh, I don't got it in me, and I pushed myself for like at least an hour, and I accomplished what I needed to. And I look back on that now and I'm like, okay, that was beneficial to me. And there are nights like I'm like, I got to write, I get to write today. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to, because I don't want to lose, that drive that I have in me. And I want you guys to just continually stay motivated to get to where you want to be. That's the goal of it, and that's the name of the game. if you're thinking about quitting, don't, because tomorrow might be that day where you're like, there's that opportunity I was waiting for, or there was that offer that was coming in. There goes someone who read that blog that changed my life and emailed me and asked me if I can contribute to what they're doing. So remember that when you're thinking about walking away from things. So with that said, that's my podcast for today. I thank you guys for listening as always. Stay motivated, stay inspired, don't be average, and go accomplish your goals.